do people get missed in the system? So I want to go to Bob or Dennis Slotnick. With that, how do people miss out? Who falls through those cracks, and how do they fall through the cracks?
You're asking me now?
Yes, go ahead, Dennis.
Well, I think it's a simple matter of having a system that's based on profit. You got a hospital, you build it where people are insured. You got a hospital where people are not insured, it's not going to get funded. So you got poorly funded urban hospitals where people don't get insurance. It's a pretty simple equation now. It's a matter of inequity based on profit, taking advantage of people's ability to pay insurance. And it's pretty well documented. You don't have. The reason Medicare came out in the first place is because the insurance companies couldn't make enough money on the low-end income people and the underinsured. So Medicare and Medicaid came in to save the day for the insurance companies so they can insure the cherries and drop the lemons. So it's pretty simple. My comments are in the chat. I have references and comments. So, you don't have to go to me for your time here. I know it's important, but I've got one of the here that document the inequities. And
I want you to expand on something, Dennis. We always often talk. He talked about Ohio being on the top list, on the bottom of the list at number 48. I want you to talk about that. Of course, I know what he's talking about, and also that you mentioned at the beginning of your introduction about the connection of this to COVID, how exposed we've been. Elaborate on those. People might not understand what this COVID season and sad season has brought to our eyes when it comes to Medicare for all. It's really exposed our system to show that we are so vulnerable to being attacked because we have a very weak health system. So go ahead and talk about the Ohio's rating when it comes to just healthcare. You said we're number 48, and you were going to share some information with both of us.
Yeah, can you see this? It's backwards. Health value. See, is it backwards for you?
Actually, it's good. We can see
right side.
We can see what
they got a description about what happened in Ohio. This is put out by the Health. I don't know if you can see it. The Health Policy Institute. I put this site on the chat, but it shows pretty clearly. This was a year ago. Ohio is ranked 46. I know the numbers are backwards for you, but you get the idea.
Did not know that.
That's not good.
We're in the red zone, not so good. If you look at where we are as far as paying for it, we're about in the middle. If you look at what we're getting,
you see Washington's in the green. Why do you think I stayed here?
that has done
Exactly. I don't blame you.
It's a 20-page documentation, and it goes through all the areas in which there are.
I don't even want to know where North Carolina is because it's probably somewhere down there.
Yeah, I saw red and orange.
Mm-hmm.
Bob, I know you. It's yourself and Dennis and Debbie. We all welcome.
Let me put the link for you in the chat. It's called the dashboard for the Health Policy Institute of Ohio. It comes out each year. It's very well researched, but it is blatantly problematic. We pay about as much as anybody else in this country, but we're getting bottom rung care. So, what do we do about it?
Mm-hmm.
Call the reps, call our senators, get this thing passed away.
And we're going to get to the call to action in a minute. What to do? And I'm glad you're jumping in there already. But Bob, about that, it makes Spanish work more important more than ever. In the sense of being able to organize in Central Ohio and being able to organize to stay out. Some of the things that we've been doing. How can people that are listening to that? How can they get involved? In the sense of just organizing. At this point, the other part of what to do in the sense of actually getting the solve. How can they join your organizations? I want to start with Span. How can people join your organization? How can they help your organization? And I want to go walk all the way to PNHP and as well as PDA.
I think what's really good about what's happening is that organizations that are dealing
Somebody got a dog.
are beginning to see that all
That's your
That's
piece.
it.
That's
Mhm.
you.
people in
Calm yourself.
Ladies and
Cats are not
gentlemen,
included under Medicare.
for everybody who just tuning in, this is a special town hall for Medicare for All. Our panelist is actually hosting this, and we're doing a simulcast with him.
And so the audience has expanded because we've been able to listen to them and their issues, and they see that our issue is related to their issues. I think that's the single biggest thing that is moving the needle in terms of how many people belong, are part of this movement, and our movement toward helping them in their issue as well.
Interesting. So I'll go to PNHP. Dr. Ross, what is it? How do people, and for the physicians out there, what would you say about your colleagues or physicians who are not members of PNHP at this point? They might not even know about PNHP. How do you, if somebody knows that, can somebody talk to their physician about joining?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that even you as a patient can go into the physician's office. If there are patients out there, we'll all be patients someday, but if you're out there thinking about it, there's no problem having a conversation with the doctor. I know Debbie has told me in the past she did whether they join or not, even if they go to Physicians for National Health Program and just read the most frequently asked questions, the FAQs that they list there, they'll have in probably 20 minutes of
You know what I find interesting down there?
What's that?
50% of
As they're discussing this, and they were asking like, "What's the big issue?" And the man earlier who gave the analogy of cherries and lemons, it just got me thinking the real issue as to why we don't have Medicare for all in America is because America is all about the dollar. And getting as many dollars from as many different vantage points. If we can get the dollar 5 different ways from one point, we'll do it.
Yeah, but it's all about who's going to get paid at the end.
So think about the industries that are charged, that work through, that wouldn't. Think about the industries that we have in America under the healthcare system that don't exist in other nations that have Medicare for all or free healthcare.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue definitely on the right side, they just worry about like the tax part, and
it's all about money.
Yeah,
it's
and and day by day, I understand why we can have higher taxes. It's like life. If the higher the risk, better the reward. Yeah, and so
also you're paying for the convenience as well.
Right, and
like
so
I will pay an extra $2 on this book if I know I don't have to pay $200
right
for doctor's visit.
And here's another thing to add on that too. Then people say, how can we afford those taxes? Then that's why we need to put in the minimum wage to make it higher.
Number one, you bump up the minimum wage, and 2, you increase the taxes in frivolous things. Like I always use Canada for example. They have higher taxes on their magazines and their books and their literature.
Yeah, a
book here that might cost like a well-known Stephen King book. Let's say top dollar, it's gonna get you $49.95 for it. So $50 for Stephen King in America. But in Canada, it's like $65, $70 almost.
Yep. It's crazy. But let's go
but
back.
They can get drunk. They can get drunk and be good. We can't. I'd rather pay that $65 for.
But they make their money. But let's go back to the town hall.
That they have to keep what we have right now.
Yeah, maybe one sentence. Right? You've all seen The Wizard of Oz. Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain. It's just
well played, sir.
I mean, the fact is that we've got enough money to cover everybody. We've got the best doctors in the world, the best nurses in the world, the best hospitals in the world, the best equipment in the world. What we don't have is the best system in the world. All we need to do is to refocus that system And as I know Ian and I have thought a little bit about this, is universal, simple, and affordable. That's what we get with single payer Medicare for all. And so, you know, to me, you know, pay no attention to that behind the curtain. He's back there. That's what he's doing, right? And if you pull back the curtain, you'll see that he doesn't have any good explanation for what he's doing. So
Dr. Bill, you in California, that's the sunny California, you know, the progressive California. I mean, everything is good about America. I think you guys try to start it off, right? So I mean, how come you guys have not started this off in the right foot? I mean, what has stopped that? What has stopped the movement from being able to happen effectively in California and have it flow from the west as often it does progressively? What has stopped it? What are the challenges that you guys saw in California, and why is it not going across the country like it should?
The governor is being repealed.
What was that? I missed it.
The governor is being recalled.
Oh, recall. We could recall our governor. Yeah. Well, I could probably, you know, hand this one over to Alan. But I would just say that I think you're referring to what we call our super majority in California, right? In our legislature, and the fact that, you know, we had Jerry Brown as governor, you know, prior to the Gavin Newsom, who's now, you know, the Trumpsters at least are trying to recall Gavin Newsom for reasons that, you know, only they understand. But it won't be the first time that California can make a very big mistake. So you're not being complacent. No, it's big bucks. It's big money. And our supermajority of Democrats in Sacramento still take big bucks from big insurance and big pharma.
Yes.
And that's what we're up against. When you ask,
we have said that on the show, as many people know that I criticize the Democratic Party as much as I criticize as much as the right, even though I go harder for the right when I criticize them, but I do criticize the Democrats for that. So what he's talking about right now, ladies and gentlemen, is the governor.
Absolutely true.
Yeah, and the governor from California, who I think did an extraordinary job over there in California. He's getting criticized for how he handled the pandemic, which he did handle it flawlessly. But one flaw that I can say that he did was that, you know, he still got the high incarceration rates over there. Once again, like I did with Kamala Harris on our last show, it's all about the structures under him, and he only knows what the information that he's getting. And then, and another thing he did, he actually went to one of his donor houses, had a party when he told everybody not to go anywhere. He did. So yes, he should get criticized for that. But majority of these votes for him to get recalled is from the opposing side. So yes, they're gonna get around like 1 million. They got like over 1 million names on the petition. So they need to get 2 million to get a recall. And I think he's not going to get recalled whatsoever. I think he's going to run and he's going to win again. So,
that's true in California.
But that's hell.
Politics.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm swinging to Ireland right now, so it's about greed. It's obviously about greed. I want to talk about that greed.
Guys, I'm going to bust it 1 second. I've got another place I'm supposed to be at 8:30, so I'm going to step out. Thank you guys have been amazing. You know, I've learned tonight too. So I apologize for leaving the meeting a little early, but I have to go. So thanks.
No worries. No worries. We're going to
keep on fighting. This is a lifetime fight, guys. We'll be fighting when we win. All right.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dr. Ross. Yeah. But definitely swing back, and we only have about 15 minutes or so to wrap up as well. But Alan, real quick, you know, I want to jump on this idea of greed, and again, what it is. We know it, but I want to make sure we say it to people so they can hear it. Who are the oppositions on this? Big pharma, big insurance. No, who are the oppositions?
Oh.
And describe to folks what goes on in DC. You are in DC a lot. You know, you fight.
It says all about greed. It's all about everybody wants to get paid, but everybody wants to get paid a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
everybody talks about how great it is, but it's not happening. What is it? How do we make it happen in the sense of the legislative part of making it happen? I want you to speak to that. Then after that, I want to ask everybody about the African American community, minority community, because I always want to make sure we talk about that. It's one thing that we often don't talk about. Well, we talk about systemic racism a lot, but we don't talk about how healthcare is involved in systemic racism. So I want to jump to that after we get done. But I'll go ahead and
I mentioned those things earlier about Wall Street. There was a moment where Bernie Sanders was ahead in the race for the nomination after the Nevada caucuses.
Can I just sound jealous and say I hate it? I'm jealous of his curl.
You know what? I'm about to say the same thing. He looked like he, been doing his work.
Like he done had that curl since like a strong 77, 78. Like that's the thing about men. When we find a hairstyle that works for us and gets us laid, we gonna keep that to the casket drop. I done seen brothers with that 1937 slick back, 90 years old, still got the same slick back, but it look good on them.
No. Oh, the screen's not. Hold up.
He good. But who am I talking? I'm gonna have salt and pepper dreads at 80 years old. I already know.
Oh, I was just clicking in up in this. I don't know why it's not sharing no more. Stop sharing. Hold up. Apologies about that, ladies and gentlemen. Let me try that again. It just stopped sharing.
As much as the money that they receive. So if one party goes singularly against an industry, that money will go. That industry will stop hedging and giving to both parties. They'll just pour into the other. They fear that money. So there's that, and that holds people in place. So the lobbying is very powerful. This is like the last moment that I can speak because I know we're about to run out of time. I want to make this point, and this pertains a little bit to California because California could be very relevant because of the Newsom recall. While we do not support the Newsom recall and no Democrats do, he's facing a primary shortly after that because he's 3 years to his 4-year term. And I do think the recall is an opportunity because there's a movement right now to call for single-payer universal health care in California, which Newsom in theory has said he supports. Well, now we should use the recall to say, we'll support you in the recall, and you are going to say you're going to do this. Okay, you have 6 months to do it because then you're facing a primary. Okay? And even more significantly is the moment. Joe Biden's the president. He was very clear as he ran. He didn't support Medicare for all. I think we have to forget at times we have to just not let ourselves get drawn into what seems like it's not politically possible. We have gone through the greatest phase of social disruption any of us have experienced. Public health is absolutely part of it. Definitional to what we've all experienced in the last year. As we come out of this, we have to lift the idea of a different social organization, one without the same level of wealth inequality, which translates to political inequality, and also health inequality. And this hits home like no other issue. And I really think we have to use this moment to elevate this issue, draw more people.
Good.
I'm sorry. My freaking phone is acting stupid.
Mayor just spoke about because they are super. Medicare for all, of course, is intentionally structured by Camilla Diefald to address things like healthcare deserts across this country, which not only affect rural communities for the large geographic spaces, but
I had me that racist sports commentator moment.
So, and I like the fact that you said that. Now, I'm going to that point. How does it affect the African American community? How does it affect the work? I mean, and I'm asking this question. I know the answer to it, but I want to make sure you guys share with friends. How describe to me, and then Dr. N, give me an example. Well, I mean, if I have Medicaid, why do I need to worry about it? And if I can just go to the hospital sometimes and just check out and just throw the bill away or whatever, I mean, what do I need to worry about? And if I'm a low income earner in America, what do I need to worry about? And how can single-payer help that?
Yeah, and I appreciate having an opportunity to answer that question. I think one thing that has struck me in my work as a physician, but also as an advocate around universal health care, is that this is not the first time this fight has been fought around Medicare. There's a great film that came out a couple of years ago. The director is Barbara Bowman. This film was called The Power to Heal, and it was about how Medicare was integral for the integration in the South for medical services for African Americans in this country. There was a point in time where physicians in this country, hospitals in this country, healthcare systems in this country would not provide healthcare to African Americans. And Medicare, as an institution,
wouldn't even include you in the discussion.
The federal government, not just the morality, but the federal government against people to say, this is not right. And so, it's sad in some ways, but in other ways, it's eye-opening that this current pandemic has shown us that individuals, many of my patients are low income, African Americans, with brown individuals who are working to keep our hospitals open, to keep the essential services going so that all of us can still exist. And yet they are dying and being infected with COVID at much higher rates. They have here in Ohio, I just heard this statistic yesterday, only 9% of African Americans in this state have been able to get the COVID vaccine. Now some of that has to do with access, right? Access to the medical services.
I think there should be only 9% have actually taken the initiative and gained it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a good portion of us that's like, nah, I'm not taking it.
Yeah. I mean, that's why education matters,
No, not just education, transparency and honesty and acknowledgement of your faults.
True.
Medically speaking, they still don't want to acknowledge the Tuskegee experiment. They still don't want to acknowledge a lot of the medieval practices that got us to where we are now.
That's true.
In 2021, just as unacceptable as it was in 1965 when people's eyes got open to say, hold on, what are we doing? And I think this is that moment in time where we have to say again, what are we doing? We have to correct historical ills. Mm-hmm. We have to correct present ills. And Medicare for All is the way that we do that. And that's why someone referenced this bill today from Representative Jayapal, looks that in the face and says, this is wrong. And this is how we fix it. We provide Americans universal health care. This is the biggest issue, socially, economically, and medically in this country. Thank you again.
Bob, I know you want to get a word on it. Go ahead. Bob, then we're going to go back to Debbie and we'll stop the bill again.
It just makes perfect sense. Honestly, if we as America, who's supposed to be the greatest nation currently, and we're supposed to be the top dog, how does that look for us to walk around here
and say we're the best, we can't take care of our people?
We number one, but we got this big ass boil on the back of our leg. We got this cut on the back of our neck. We not taking care of ourselves. You could plainly see that we're injured and suffering of some kind of medical malady, but we still saying we number one. We number one. We so focused about the money, we gonna die and still be broke.
African American and other folks who are actually in working class communities, so to speak. How when you get those bills, and it's overwhelming, tell us how that affects going to the doctor the next time. I mean, going for a regular checkup, the co-pays and all that kind of stuff. I know.
The co-pays is not what kill you; it's the medications.
Mm-hmm.
When you can't.
I've seen a one man pay $1,500 for 2 prescriptions just so he could live for another 30 days, and that was with no insurance. And he paid that cash, like dope money.
Damn. That's sad.
I never have. As somebody who has legally and illegally sold drugs, it has never hurt my heart to publicly charge somebody that much money for some drugs, whether they needed it or wanted it or not. That'll be $1,575.42. 1,500, yeah.
in a community of color there.
And he just counts it out.
Facilities that are close by to go to, and you don't have
That's the craziest part. Like the medical bills, folk just deal with it. No matter your race, you get that bill for that X-ray, you're not gonna take care of it right then and there.
No.
But that prescription for that pain pill or that blood medicine or that heart pill, oh, you're gonna take care of that.
Oh, heck yeah.
We have one of the most world-class.
Might not have lights, but you're gonna have your heart meds.
I wish his broadcast was a little bit louder.
Well, that's the thing about Zoom. It's only going.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a true balance for all the external audio that's coming in.
They're unwanted, and so why would they trust the healthcare system?
Like Zoom is like that old school multi-tap for the game system that everybody could bring their controller in for.
Mm-hmm.
It worked, but it has its issues.
Professionals of color. One of the things that I am told repeatedly by members of the Black Health Coalition is we want to be treated by people that look like us. White people have had that all the time. We want that too, and we need to have some instruction for our
It is true.
As to how
from a financial sense, it is very true.
Assuming that people are non-compliant.
The fact that I worked in the pharmacy and they saw a black dude with dreads in a lab coat, they felt more comfortable dropping their prescription off and then telling their family, "Hey, I'm gonna drop it off over here to CVS. Yeah, they got a black dude working back there." I mean, black dude. He got dreads down his back.
Do some of those things.
Word, yeah. And then when I left, and the crazy thing is, when I left and they found out I ain't worked there no more, they left, took their prescriptions to somewhere closer or somewhere more convenient for them.
Oh wow!
But we need
yeah.
One of the things we have to understand though about single payer, when you're talking single payer, that's a financing mechanism. The part that makes it worth fighting for are the human rights standards that are incorporated into most of these single payer bills. You know, it's meeting those human rights standards that makes the bill worth it, not just the financing of it. So keep that in mind, is that we are fighting for a healthcare system that meets human rights standards. Because currently,
I can understand what she means by that from pharmaceutical sense.
Mm-hmm.
And insurance won't pay for anything, regardless of whether you need it to live. Like if it's fiscally just too fucking much. Like I've seen prescriptions that are like $3,000 for 30 days without insurance. And so it was like, even with you have insurance, if the doctor says you need this, the insurance can be like, is there a generic? No. Well, it's too fucking hot. We're not covered.
Absolutely, it's
right.
the same. When
Yeah,
everyone
you
gets
lying
the same
about that.
high quality care, it's
They
not
say prior authorization, and then they just drag their feet forever.
Tell me about it.
All right, bro. I've been on the phone with the insurance companies. Like I understand what she means by that, by changing the language and the verbiage on the human right aspect and acknowledging the sincerity and severity of some of these prescriptions, regardless of generic alternatives, is forcing the financial side of the insurance to have to cover those. They look for any wiggle room and legal loophole they can not to cover this, regardless of whether you need it or not.
Or if it's covered by that hospital, the hospital don't cover it and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Specialists, third parties, outsourcing, those type of deals. Those are like lenient loopholes they can use to be like, well, we can't cover it.
Mm-hmm.
So you definitely have to focus on changing the wording and decreasing that devil's deal, because people gonna look at how it's worded and how each word and letter is arranged to try to find some kind of perceived advantage over.
I know that's something that we can pretty much.
So they definitely must be crystal clear and concise in how they state that whatever prescription needs to be prescribed or needs to be insured, it will be insured. Especially if it's something that is considered life needing or permanent.
Yeah.
As long as they're alive, they're gonna be taking this. So you might as well just cover it.
Right. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we apologize for the sound quality from his town hall. We will work something. We will work on.
Mm-hmm. We're making sure that you can at least understand what we are able to hear and understand that they're talking about how Medicare for all should be structured. Why has it taken so long for this conversation to not become a serious conversation or a honest dialogue?
And contribute on all levels to our community.
These doctors are making very, very, very good points as to why not only Medicare for all is just an American necessity, but how it can overturn and change instantly a lot of the less than needed laws that are already in effect right now.
Okay, because what is the structure of healthcare now that uses structural racism to further the advantages to the status quo? Okay, and how does Medicare for all offer an alternative structure? Well, the structure right now is unbridled corporate capitalism, and that means we have healthcare markets, as Alan referred to them, healthcare desert, whether it's rural or inner city. But the bottom line is it's poverty. These are impoverished areas, and that's an opportunity for unscrupulous capitalists to, further indenture more of the servitude class kind of thing, and not offer markets. It's a bad market for investment, right? And that's why we have it, whether it's in all communities of color, Black, Indigenous peoples of color, in all communities across the country, whether it's East Coast, West Coast, or anywhere in between. Okay, so how does that impact? You will not have hospitals, clinics, healthcare services that you need, but you also won't have what we call the social determinants of health. Everything else that surrounds healthcare that's necessary, including decent jobs, decent wages, decent food, decent housing, all of those other things that are part of American poverty that's resulted in homelessness. And so that's what Medicare for All actually addresses on many levels. That's why it doesn't take care of the entire problem. That's why we need a bigger, New Deal or Green New Deal type of focus to address all of American poverty. But it goes a big way to do that because it addresses those healthcare deserts as well as at least the social determinants of health, and puts institutional and structural reforms in places to do that in Medicare for all.
Absolutely, and I thank you for that. But now I'm going to go. The last round is just to ask, what is the call to action? And we all know what it is. Is ask, but I want you for the folks in Span, Ohio. I'll start with those in Ohio. Then I'll go back to Dr. Bill and end with Alan in terms of nationally, being national organizations of who to call, and I want to talk to Alan at some point about the way you looked at that list. I think Saturday or Sunday night, and you found nobody in Ohio that's get co-sponsored this yet, but definitely other states that I have people who are from Kentucky because I went to college in Kentucky who are friends and who might be listening to this today, as well as folks from Michigan and just around the country. But definitely the key states that you think that we can get. I want Ken, and I'll go Bob, and I'll go Debbie, and we can say a good evening as well.
Basically, what he's suggesting for those that can't hear is using Ohio as an example because it's rated so low on the list. Is take those lower states, especially those lower states that have high political value, as well as low medical care, get them to partner up and actually become the political voice for the nation in regards to Medicare for all. Because if the lower states are the main ones that are, griping for it, and it's also the lower states that actually have some electoral votes and some sway when it comes to the politic game, those are the ones you definitely want to keep happy. Those are your long time customers.
True.
So if you're gonna cut them some deals, you're gonna work with them to get this shit popping, so they don't feel mad and get everybody else on their side.
This is that moment, and I'm using every opportunity.
So basically, you poor red states that's hurting for healthcare, get together, link up, and make your voice known, especially if you're black in those states.
Oh, hell yeah.
I want to go to Bob, and I'll go to Debbie after that.
But take your ass on TikTok. That's the spot right now. Better hop on TikTok in the gram. Let your shit be known.
I know we have COVID right now. One of the things that we can do organized in Ohio, and Bob, from your perspective, being in region 5 and being the coordinator here in Central Ohio, and we know we have at least about 3 or 4 congressional seats.
And the freeze.
Yeah, y'all love the freeze.
That's a perfect caption right there for the black folk. What is the name of his sermon? With the purple on and that pose right there, he's in the midst of reading from the Bible. So just to the viewers out there right now that just saw that comment at the bottom, what do you think the name of his sermon is? And for bonus points, what book of the Bible is he coming from? I don't necessarily need chapter and verse.
Gotcha, Bob. Let me go to
for those that don't understand who these individuals are, our panelists has gathered not just individuals from the political field, but those involved in the political and medical. Not just doctors, but advocates and lobbyists. Those who have the intimate as well as the technical experience to speak on this from an educated point. And they're all in agreement from different levels, different areas that Medicare for all is something that is needed. So the doctors are saying it, the lobbyists are saying it, the activists are saying it. Damn sure the Pope people are saying it.
Mm-hmm.
All we need is you silly folk in the middle that don't know no better or don't understand that Medicare for all would actually mean a less insurance payment for you if you would actually have an insurance payment. Because if everyone gets insurance, then that insurance coverage is just divvied out through different tax increases that you're already fucking paying for.
Well, that's true.
So hey, I'm cool with paying $5 a gallon for gas if I know that extra $1.50 or extra $2 that they charge me is going toward my health care. That's the convenience. That's the same way when your ass walk up the street to the corner store and get you a pack of cigars that normally you will pay 99 cents for, but up at this store they charging niggas damn $1.59 for it. But the regular store was closed and you ain't got no way to get down there. So what your ass gonna do? You gonna pay that $1.59 for that pack of cigars?
Definitely.
You're paying for the convenience, and you understand that.
And people gotta understand that. Yeah, they definitely have.
So why can't Why can't you understand that across every facet? Most things that we have an issue understanding, we understand it from one particular vantage point or one particular concept. We need to acknowledge that if it exists and if it's true within this particular concept, most likely is true or holds some truth across all concepts and spectrums. So if I'm paying for the convenience on this, I know I'm paying for the convenience on something else. It's part of the game.
Right.
And so, yeah, you have a bunch of other, including Ryan, who, by the way, is, of course, everybody's no secret that everyone thinks he's going to be running for Senate in the state of Ohio. And you're Sheriff Brown, who, again,
At this point, you know, we kind of got, they're preaching what we've always been preaching to, and it just kind of drives it home further. Get more involved in your politics, get more involved in the vote that's actually getting voted in. Like, make sure they know your face, or at least make sure they know what area you from when they see your face.
Yep. That's the biggest thing. You know, you just can't sit there and just think things are just going to happen. This is why you should vote. This is why you should be active. This is why you should exercise your right. Because now I got to bring Seafoy up in this. You have the option to not vote as well to make that statement. So if no party indicates that's how he felt, neither party was valid or afforded any true benefits to the Americans, let alone the Black Americans. So my right to vote or my right to not vote can be exercised how I see fit. If I don't want to vote for either one of them, I don't have to. Right, which is true. But the contrary that I have to that is you better be very, 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 very active in your community to do that. You have to have power behind it. So
I agree. That's the point I was making with you.
Yeah.
I'm not just saying don't vote as one singular person. No. Right. I'm saying in the sense of when it is a accepted consensus amongst everyone that either one party is not good or both parties are not good. And in the case of both parties not being good or both options not being good, you all have the collective right to not choose either one. And that makes a more powerful choice than anything else. By showing that you can't move forward in a publicly elected fashion if the public doesn't elect someone.
I think
the only option is to fall back on the current entity and let them continue until another selection process can be procured. And if it's a public format,
shoot, I should tell them to have them come on the show, or one of them, if they still have time. I'm going ahead and write that to me, y'all.
Made us all shut in our homes, and you know, we decided to step up our monthly meetings to once a week. And so we did have Debbie Dingle this last Sunday, and before that we had Dr. Stephanie Kong, who's the lead health policy director for Millage Hall. She was fantastic. We've had showcased leaders, you know, all the way at the most local level. And I do think we should be thinking globally.
I want to get one on to just bring more justice to what they're talking about. You know what I mean?
Are really important. I mean, how much money would a school district save? You know, we can be talking dollars and cents with school districts, right? Like between between $2,000 or $10,000 per employee per year. That's not chump change. That's a lot of money. And you have healthier and happier employees and students, you know, as a result. So we need to be grilling every candidate for school districts, for city councils, and county councils, and county boards of supervisors. They all should realize that Medicare for All is should be on a platform, even at the most local level. So I just want to thank you all for having this discussion and for doing the organizing that you do there.
I go back to my further statement as well as we got to embrace the ways of those around us. So
Yes.
we got to do it on a multi-tier front. So when he's talking about we got to aggressively seek out and understand who is running or who is trying to be positioned for these different various political positions, we need to really get on them, especially in the case of, so for example, with Medicare for All, moving forward, we as the American need to drill in their head and have the mentality of, if you ain't for Medicare for All, don't put your ass out here because we're not going to vote for you.
Nope.
And if we vote for you and you lie to us, everything about your life, from your fiscal to your family, we will fuck over.
Yeah, that's how politics should be.
We will not. We will get on the Amish tip. So we vote you in, and you want to vote against Medicare for All. Well, before you were a politician, you were an average American, most likely a businessman or business worker. So whatever business entity you had prior to your politics or while in politics will no longer sustain any kind of revenue or income. We will boycott. We will cancel.
Yeah, you should be shunned.
That was my next point. Thank you for saying. That's the family part. You will be shunned. Everyone around you will look at you with that look of disdain and disgust, and we will not speak to you. From your family to your first-hand man to your secretary, you will be shunned. And those that agree with you will be shunned along with you and their corresponding families. We ain't talking about death threats. We just talking about not fucking with you.
Yep, basically.
Cold shoulder, evil eye, stink eye. That's all we talking. And the Amish do that shit so well. If I fuck up, my own mama can't even look at me. You know how cold it is when you could piss off the community so much that even your own mama got to be like, nah, I can't even mess with you right now. I mean, I understand what you did, baby. You still my baby, but back up. Leave out the back door. Make sure don't nobody see you talking to me.
Yep. Than it is to hear from you again.
You start doing people like that, they will change their ways. Once you start seeing that my reputation and my revenue is in jeopardy and it's taking a hit, I'm gonna change whatever the fuck I need to real quick. I'll be like Will Ferrell up in that black church. With a yarmulke on, doing a brisk with the snake charmers out there praying to Allah. I don't give a shit. My rep is on the line and it's fucking up my money. What I got to do to fix this?
Right. And that's how it should be.
Who ass I got to kiss? I got the lip balm. You want cherry or you want passion fruit? That's what we need. That's the mentality we need to move forward with these politicians. Like, I joke about these things, but no, I always go back to this reference of the campaign as the movie. You really see what politicians have to go through from a professional level as well as a personal level for that perceived dream of political power. And it's done so comedic and satirical, but the truth is right there. If the Koch brothers is there and they say, hey, I want this to go on. Hey, bro, I can't do that. My people's not going, my constituents not going to rock with that. They're not going to vote me in if I rock with that. Oh, okay, well, we'll just get you kicked out. Bye. Throw a dead hooker and some cocaine on you. It sounds messed up, but this is how they do. This is how they operate. So you really need to pay attention. And once you see it, you know how to approach them and you know how to avoid them as well. We also know how to look for the ones that are involved.
and they have one person after the other that called. They gave him a script to read, and these people called, and he got so many calls, he signed on. Well, they've got to know that the people in their district support it, and that the people in their district are behind it. And the more people that they hear from, every person that they hear from, they assume others out there feel the same way that just aren't contacting them. So if we could have 100 people contact them, then they might think there might be 10,000 people out there that feel the same way. So that's the important thing, is the phone calls that we can get into their offices.
The perception.
Yeah. And they say, an email, they figure if you write an email 10
I mean, it's like I said, the perceptive image. You have to use it, acknowledge it, and then use it to your advantage. You know how they're going to view things, so set it up to make them view it that way.
You ask for a meeting with them, and you can ask for a Zoom meeting for them.
I know down there you've done it a couple times.
What's that?
You see how you see how people perceive you, or you can tell if somebody got that vibe of, man, he possibly military.
Mm-hmm.
And you use it to your advantage. You won't say nothing, but you move in a manner that
you can talk about that posture.
You'll walk a certain way, you'll just exude that vibe, and that pheromone is like, what you think is true.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to try me?
Yeah, it's just like with you too. Who's a gangster or who actually lived that street life. You got people that talking, then you got people who actually don't say too much, and you probably like, yeah, I know.
Those ones, they're funny. But it goes back to the main point. We have to do our due diligence and really get the right people in there, and even to the ones that are in there, we have to scare them and force them into our way. Like, look, this is for your benefit too. And the only way I'm gonna get you to understand that is if I start fucking with your shit.
Right. And this Medicare for all thing has to be something that has to get through. But hopefully Mayo.
This is a kick and screaming moment. This is a kick and screaming situation. Regardless how you feel, there's something that needs to happen.
Right. Hopefully Mayo.
You're taking this man.
Yeah. Hopefully, I don't want to be disrespectful and write Mayo and on the show be like, hey, you should bring one of them on the show if they're willing to stay a little bit longer.
But we would like to help him continue this dialogue. So if possible, we will reach out to him and see if he can bring them on to our show as well. Because all of them, regardless of their race, they have spoke intelligently and sincerely and knowledgeably on the concerns of Blacks.
Right.
And they have acknowledged what they have seen amongst their individuals and their constituents, that yes, this is true. So you got folk in Ohio, you got somebody in Cali, they're all saying the same shit. So obviously this is a sentiment that is amongst all of us. So if it is possible, yes, we would like them to come back and continue this dialogue and have another town hall discussion, little, education, enlightenment for those that aren't really sure what the big huff about Medicare for all is. Or they was just assuming, I thought everybody got Medicare.
Right.
Because there's a distinction between Medicare and Medicaid.
It's 202-225-5261. Again, 202-225-5261. And for Marcy, which I'm quite surprised. Like everybody said, that Marcy is not co-signed this bill already. And I know that she's been progressive on other issues. Met in the office, done presentations with on Capitol Hill before, so I'm very surprised. And but I leave that aside. 202-225-4146. We just have to keep fighting. Thank you so much, Debbie and Bob and Ann. We just have to keep fighting. And to everybody else who's listening, I would like to say my good evening, but I want to make sure that I reinforce again, being me, Mayor McKinday in Columbus, Ohio here. I've always believed that health and education should be something that no one should have to worry about getting in America if they're in America. If we call ourselves the greatest country in the world, we should always be able to provide health care and education to every single person in this country. I truly believe that it should be human rights. No one should have to worry about if their next door neighbor's kids are not educated because they don't have enough money. No one should have to worry about if their next door neighbor is dying of any kind of health issues because they're afraid of going to the hospital because they don't have insurance or they're bankrupt because of insurance. And as a businessman, I love to use myself as an example when we go into the Congress offices and into the State House offices to tell them, as a businessman, I believe this is better for business. That's one less thing I have to worry about, in the sense of making an enterprise. That's one less thing I have to worry about paying my employees' insurance and paying their health care, and giving the healthcare industry all this money. So, and the healthcare and the insurance industry, they will survive. The insurance industry will survive. How many things we pay insurance on? You think about cars, you think about life insurance. Think about, they will survive, and people can often, in the bills that I think the Conyers bill and the John Conyers bill, the previous one. I think there was something in there about trying to make sure that the transition of healthcare workers, the insurance workers, if we had lost insurance people in the sense of their jobs, there was a way to find a transition for them to get a new industry, to learn a new industry and get new jobs. So it's not like people are just trying to throw the baby out with the bathwater in the sense of not caring about people that might lose their job. But what's more important is making sure that we are a country that has decency and has morals to be able to care for our neighbors and to make sure that our neighbors are not dying because they're not making as much money. That we are not a have-not country when it comes to education and health care. So that's why we do this. That's why I do it. And I know how it affects me and everybody else. I thank everybody for watching tonight. My guest, I thank you all, and folks who are still here, Bob and Debbie, thank you guys so much. And we're going to end the live stream right now. But again, if you want to join SPAN, it's an easy group to join. It's almost like family in there. Everybody comes in there, and we talk about how we can better educate our neighbors, and which is what we take to get this to happen. So thank you so much for watching tonight, everyone, and God bless.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Yes, we are off the broadcast now, but I definitely enjoy y'all coming. Thank you so much, and hopefully we can do this as a way to reach out to everybody else. So.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Mayo. I appreciate it.
Yeah, hope to see more of you, Ian.
Yeah.
Well, I like to see more of everybody.
All right, so let's go ahead and get off that while they're having that little secret little powwow. Let me go ahead.
Soft special.
Yeah, so that's letting us know a little bit too much what's going on. Hold on, let me get off this thing, my damn self.
That's the after church service. We done had benediction, but folk got to talk. After show was a good service, girl.
So, ladies and gentlemen, what you just seen, once again, we want to apologize for the low sound quality that was not on our end. It was actually on his end. Hopefully, next time it can be done here.
That's Zoom for you.
So, well, once again, welcome to the show. That was majority of the whole show. So, as you heard us doing our commentary in the back, thank goodness we was doing commentary in the back. This Medicare for All is a very serious thing that people need to start taking seriously. A lot of people will always be like, "What about my private provider, private care?" I'm like, "All right, okay,
wow,
yeah," but that's one thing you got to think. So, okay, you got a private provider. What happens if that goes, like the rates goes higher on that end? When things start to crap up over there, would you like to have something that's free rather than keep paying?
Here's a question I asked to the individual that says, "Well, I have I have private insurance. Why would I need to pay for Medicare for all? Okay, you are the same individual who would buy through insurance, your private insurance, due to your proclivities. You would buy 5 Viagra pills instead of the traditional 30-day supply that is usually prescribed because your insurance will only give you 5 days of fucking. So what do you do during my heyday? You call me once I get off work and I sell you the other 25 off the clock because your insurance won't cover it. So that same insurance that you're praising so much got you coming out your pocket at that time. At that time, it was $10 a pill for retail. So you paid $45 in insurance for 5 pills, but because you want 30 days and you're so proud about your insurance, you end up paying me an extra $250 for the other 25 at $10 a pop.
Because it's your private insurance and it's all yours.
But I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it because I'm universal, baby. I take everybody. I don't give a fuck. You ain't got to be insured with me. What's your problem? You got $5 on you. It's your knee. Hold on. Take half of this one right now. Don't do no drinking. Take the other half in the morning. Rub yourself down with some aspirin cream. I'll holler at you.
And speaking of that, we're going to take our commercial break. Hopefully, Mayo will be already in and we can talk and rap with him. We'll be right back. And we are back. I think Mayo's still wrapping things up. Hopefully he comes in. But let's go ahead and shift gears from Medicare for all. Let's go and let's talk about Kurt Franklin. Now,
yes, let's talk about Kurt. Since we've been joking about the church.
Yeah. So what Kurt Franklin is going through right now, I think people need to understand.
Y'all should be fucking ashamed of yourselves. Right.
And but see, the thing is, all the responses and the replies and the memes are people saying that, from what I've been seeing, have been people going at Kurt Franklin for apologizing. They're saying that he shouldn't have to apologize. You got a 33-year-old son. Now, look, we all had our issues with our parents, or the parents had their issues with their kids. We get it. Like, I'm not even gonna say I held a grudge. I held the wrongdoing that I felt, and y'all probably can call it a grudge. No, it's a difference between holding a grudge and then having something that legitimately affected you that you haven't gotten solved. that can go for things like being raped and you didn't know it was rape until now, or somebody being abused verbally or physically, or things that have been done to you that for some reason that you will never forget, or you told yourself, I will never forget this because I know it's going to become a time where that moment is going to repeat itself in my future. Or that right. So not everything that people hold in is a grudge. It could be some legitimacy why they had that period in the time in their lives that they kept with them. So I had that with my mom, got reconciled, and we're better for it. But for Kurt Franklin's son to record his father, record that conversation, yes, to record that conversation, that's just a bitch ass move. And I believe that he used Kurt Franklin's image and his reputation as a Christian man, one of the most successful gospel, not even a singer, but like a gospel artist of all time. Yes, I'm gonna put him in that regard, of all time, trying to use that against him because he cussed his son out. He basically threatened his son. He said, I'm gonna put my foot up your ass. Don't you ever talk to me like that.
I will break your neck, nigga. That ain't basically. That's not vulgar. That's a Christian having an honest moment. Look.
Yeah, and for Kurt Franklin to come at him, to go at him like that, I support him 110%. I support him, and I'm surprised that a lot of Christians came out to his defense, because I thought he was gonna get the other way around. Oh, he should never said that to his son like that. That's not God's work and all that stuff. But I was so surprised that a lot of the Christian folks jumped to his side and said, hell yeah, get him.
Well, you know, the main reason why in regards to him, this ain't the first time he's had a quote unquote publicity issue, or, you know, some dirt on his life than came out. And he did an interview where he was a self-professed porn addict. And I remember he told the story where he said he threw away some porn, threw it away, and ended up going to getting put in the dump. And this nigga said he wanted that porn back so bad he didn't bother going and buying new ones. His mind was so fucked up he tried to go retrieve it from the trash.
Oh shit!
Yeah, and I was like, wow, that's an addiction, my nigga.
Yeah, that is an addiction.
No. So this ain't the first time that he's shown his vulnerability. Number two, like Donna said, you an adult. You an adult. You a father. As a father, I don't care how old the kid get, you still they damn daddy. You still they damn mama.
Yeah, and so I'm gonna show this video for just anybody who haven't heard it. So YouTube, Facebook, listen to me. I'm just showing this for educational purposes. Also for us to talk about it. That goes with the topic. So I'm about to show this. This is not me to use it to profit off it. I'm just going to put that out there to y'all before I play this, okay? I just want everybody to know about what we're talking about, because a lot of people probably don't know what we talk about, but then there's a lot of people that do know what we're talking about, and not to mention still a hot topic still. So let's get on it. And like always, tripping.
You boy, you know you're wrong. Because you ain't show your face the whole time.
Oh, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Once again,
I heard the conversation, and the conversation, it was, from what I've heard as far as the pretense of it, the boy felt slighted. He felt that because he was the poor family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He was the struggle family.
And
he not eating, and even though he's grown, and I'm sure, Mayo,
Hey, how you doing?
What's up, y'all? How y'all doing?
Hey, we
Yeah, man.
yeah. Before we get back into what you were saying, Beach, we won't get back to your thought. We actually broadcast the town hall for you. We had our commentary on it. Only issue was we could barely hear it. So we was actually we was basically hearing it, and we couldn't. And on your Facebook, it didn't show up live up on there.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it didn't show up live.
Wow. So you guys didn't see it live?
Mm-mm. I went up on there.
Well, yeah, we saw it through here. And from what we could hear it, but it wasn't loud enough to where we knew for sure our audience could hear it. So we made sure to just commentary as well and keep everybody abreast of what's going on and what's actually being discussed.
It didn't show up live at all?
Nope.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I might go check that out. You know, hopefully I didn't have the settings that you know, like only me or whatever. I thought I had made the settings public, but you know, I'll go back and check.
I was getting ready. I sent you a message. I was saying if one of them still have time that they could come on the show and we can ask some questions.
Yeah, you know, it'd be hard to even get them right now. They you know, it's been 2 hours. I get them on here, but we'll bring it back some other time, especially maybe this next week or something.
So right now we shifting gears and we're going to talk about this, the one that you wanted to talk about, Mayo. So talk about Kirk Franklin and his son. But Beast, go ahead and finish your thought. Then we're going to let Mayo give his thought, and then we're going to play the video.
Right. With Kurt and his son, the son was just completely wrong. The boy, like the boy felt slighted. You feel like you from the struggle family, the first wife, the first family. Now, you know, they got a new family. They out here living. And I'm sure this man, in all his godly ways and sincere earnestness, got you eating good. I'm pretty sure the phone and or the car you sitting in when you made this video was funded in some part, if not completely, by your said father that you got such a fucking issue with. You know, everybody got issues with their parents. Like, just like down there, I did not have the best conversations with my mom. We sounded more like an old, bitter married couple than a son and daughter, than a son and mother.
Mm-hmm.
But yet still, I never allowed anyone to view my mother in that light. With me and her, got our issues. But that don't mean you don't sit there and try to judge her for the issues I have with her. That's between me and her.
Right, as you should be. But what about you, man?
Him doing it was just off of fame and clap. Like, don't nobody know he Kurt Franklin's son, so that's why he did all this.
Right. What about you, man?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of like you know, I was raised in a mindset where you know, you've been told something, you better do it. You know what I mean? You know, and I don't really know the backstory to it, but and also like you don't take what a family stuff we have, don't take it out anywhere. So I mean, from day one, when the idea of him reporting his dad to the public, I don't, you know, I'm still trying to get it. What were they really fighting about? I don't have the backstory that much about it, but I know he recorded it.
And that's what Beast was talking about when we first started to play the video. Is like, okay, what was the conversation? Usually, you will record the whole conversation to see what led to Kirk Franklin blowing up. But for him to record it at the point where his dad snapped on him, that just shows that you got a motive.
Well, so, and was it a stepdad? I mean, because I think that
was his. That was his son from his first marriage or first relationship. That was his eldest child. That's all we can truly establish.
Right.
That was his eldest child. That was his firstborn.
And the thing is, he is my age, 33. He's near me and Beast's age.
Yeah, he ain't that far. He ain't that far behind me. So I'm like, you should know fucking better, boy.
Right. So let's go ahead and continue.
I think it's privilege. I think it's a case of a young black privilege, boy. I mean, even though it's kind of hard to say black privilege, because we often are never privileged in America.
Yeah,
but within the black community, he's privileged.
Yeah. let's just say he's
It
just
is.
privileged. I won't put black on it. He's just privileged. It's a difference. You got white privilege and you got privilege, and that's
Right, there you
how.
go. He's privileged. That's what it is. No, that's exactly what it is.
All right, so let's go ahead now. For those who haven't seen it or those who already heard it, here we go.
Okay, if you think I'm bringing this, I understand like this. When your bitch ass start getting respect, then get your any motherfucking ass back out the goddamn way before I put my foot in your ass. I dare you. I dare you. I dare you. I dare you. Shut the fuck up. I'm old. I did it.
Okay.
So
Now, I heard the
he
phone.
talked to his dad on the phone?
He just hung up the phone.
Hold on.
That's it.
I'll break your neck.
That's how it
Is that a
is.
threat?
Y'all tell me what y'all think of.
Wow.
That's the whole clip.
So okay. So before we deep dive, before y'all give y'all deep thoughts, let me go ahead and give mine. That's shady. Ladies and gentlemen, this goes out to all the kids. I'm talking to all the kids out there who
All you
has a
newbies.
famous parent, who has a father, a mother. I don't care if you got a daughter or you got a son, because you got parents that do things like this too. Listen up. Don't be that guy, as we say in the military. Don't be that guy or be that girl that do something like this to ruin. I don't care if this musician, I don't care if Kirk Franklin has a track record of being an asshole. I honestly don't care. Because when this man who does make great music and he's up there, people put him up there on a pedestal, you know, should his personal life affect it? Yes, to an extent. To an extent. But if you are trying to exploit that and get this man career tarnished because of your insecurities, that's an issue. That's a very, very big issue where you just sit there. Because for me, as that word comes out, you're a clout chaser. You ain't had no problems with it when he was in your life. You didn't have a chance to even sit down with it because, well, take that back. Kurt Franklin did say that they had counseling and that they tried to talk about it and all that stuff. So basically, all the things that I just said can go out the window because he tried to reach out to his son and tried to work with his son. But still, also, like I said earlier, y'all need to check yourselves. Like I said, that person probably had a track record of doing assholish things to you, not to me, but to you. But for you to just exploit it out there to the world, for the world to see and ruin somebody's reputation because they treated you bad, makes you no better than what they did to you.
Right.
You become what you hate. So with that on the side, Kurt Franklin have reached out to his son. He reached out to him. He said that we had counseling. It didn't work. So what gives this kid the downright gall to record this call and then put it out like that? You will only see something like that in freaking government, with the politicians or
No.
court.
That's some bitch shit. That's some female shit.
That's what I'm aiming for. It's just sad.
I don't want to sound misogynistic, but that's some female shit, my nigga. That's some pussy shit. You know, I don't care who you are, how you feel about somebody. It's your daddy. Y'all got bad ways. Okay. The man obviously tried. Regardless of how you feel about it at the end of the day, the man tried. You can still hate this motherfucker all day, but at least he made an attempt. He didn't have to make an attempt.
Yeah, he could have just stayed home, count his money, worried about his kids from his wife that he has currently right now, and could get two squats about you and disown you.
Allegedly, I will put that out there firstly. allegedly, he could have did you like Jordan's bastard boy. That story goes, Jordan got a bastard kid out here that reached out to him, and they proved that Jordan was his father, and he didn't want nothing from him. He just really wanted acknowledgement. I don't want no money on the fame. I don't want to tell nobody. I just want you to acknowledge that you my father.
That's crazy.
And Jordan's supposed response was, "Nigga, I give you Nikes. I give you some Jordans for life, and you can leave me the fuck alone."
Dang. Is that what he said?
Allegedly.
I can see. Come on, let's be for real. I can see Jordan doing some mess like that. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
That's what I'm saying. Allegedly.
Allegedly, but yeah, we gotta use the word allegedly. Definitely on social media, like allegedly. But I can see Jordan doing some mess like that. I mean,
that's crazy.
So you ain't got a daddy like that.
And
like, he could have did you like that.
Right, I'm gonna be for real with y'all too. I don't consider myself a Christian. You know, I'm not that, you know, that religious, because I see flaws in Christianity. But Kirk Franklin is a good man. He's a good man that produced great music. Even though he's part of a organization on the Christian side, what's that news net? That Christian network. I don't agree.
No, he ain't with them no more, because they started pimping him. So he left.
Yeah, so yeah, he was associated with them, and that's why I disagree with him, knowing that he could have had his own network. He got enough money for it. He really kind of, you know, discouraged me with that. But going back to what B said, he finally, what they said, you know, smelled the roses, took the sip of the coffee, and realized, like, oh, y'all just using me because of this. Y'all can care less. And then he just went off on his own. So, I mean, and to go, and I know, Mel, I don't know if you lean to Christianity, but y'all got to hear this. Y'all got to hear this. And this is coming from me. And you can go tell your friends about it that are Christians. Stop always forgiving. Stop forgiving. Stop it. That's not showing that you're strong. It's showing you that you're weak. There's times when you guys stand up on your own 2 feet, got to put your fist up and hit back. Stop turning the other cheek, because guess what? When you turn the other cheek, guess what the other cheek going to get? It's going to get slapped or hit up. Definitely when it's your own flesh and blood. I can be like, what the hell? It's like this. I can relate this situation to your kid in the store acting stupid.
What?
You sit there, you tell them, no, you're not getting that piece of candy. No, you're not getting that toy. And they sitting there and they do a hissy fit. Bad enough on the military side, just to be real. Some of these people don't know how to take care of their kids. They just basically gonna let them do whatever they want. They're gonna sit there, gonna cry, get on the ground.
Beat your motherfucker. Right. Like, you want to put on the show? I'll give him a show. I'll beat your ass right here in front of everybody.
They don't give him the speech before you get up in that store. Who remember the speech that mama gave him? You lucky.
Oh, I still do the speech.
Right.
I work in the medical in the mental health. I turn the speech paraphrase goes something like this: for Black folk, don't touch nothing, don't ask for nothing, don't get lost from me. Don't act up, and I won't whoop your ass. Now, the new version is, anybody want to get embarrassed in here? No. Anybody feel like acting a fool? No. So we all going to be civil gentlemen, right? Yeah. Anybody need to hold my hand like they my child? No. So we all going to do what we supposed to, right? Yeah. All right, let's hop out the car.
I love it. He got it just away.
I mean, that's it. And if Kirk Franklin, if I was Kirk Franklin, and sometimes I believe that these celebrities should do away with publicists at times. Mm-hmm. At times they got to that publicist like, hold up, wait a minute. I'm not gonna do all that. Yeah, I'm not even gonna do all that. I need to be real. I need to be for real. He should have told his publicist, this is my son. This is not somebody else's son. Let me handle this the best way I can. He should have went. He should never even made that post. And if he would have went on an interview about it, he should have been straight up without the apology. He could have just been like, I try to sit down with my son. I try to reason with him, and it just didn't work. So it hurts my
I would
heart.
say it like this.
Yeah.
I apologize for those who feel some kind of way. I apologize for those who saw this in this moment in time and felt as though I was being harsh or I was over the line. That was not my intention. I was dealing with my child, and if anybody knows how it is with your child, sometimes shit like that got to get said. Especially once we get older, because then it becomes that. From a child standpoint, it's that fight of proving to your parents that I am an adult. It's the struggle of I am an adult because the world says I'm an adult. So I need for you to acknowledge me and give me that level, that balance level of I'm still your child, but I'm also an adult.
Speaking of that, ladies and gentlemen, we got to give a moment of acknowledgement. Our sponsor is on the show, and we're about 5 minutes away of switching to our second-hand sponsor, Mr. Jones of Cheddar Boy Pop, going up to the show. He just left us. Yeah, so there you go. Yeah, that's what's up. Oh yeah, speaking of that, my stimulus actually came in today, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to let y'all know. Hold up.
So your stimulus money came in?
Yeah, hold up.
I'm waiting on my Nigerian prince.
Anybody can hear me. Hold up.
Don't let them break in your door, man. Don't worry, I got your back, man.
My door is locked, so I must check it.
No, but on the way, let me jump in real quick, and I agree with Brother Jones. By the way, we're doing well. He talking about
good. By yourself.
Well, I agree with him too, man, and I'm doing well as well, Brother Jones. But I agree with him that it's not just much of a white or black thing anymore. He said he saw a white lady that checked her son at Walmart. I can see that happening. The struggle brings that out in you. The struggle makes you understand that there's not you don't just do anything just to do anything. That seemed like a tantrum that went super bad, and I agree with you too. Donnell, that there was no way at all that Kurt Franklin should have made a response video today. That's his family issue. I even feel guilty about talking about it. It's because it should not. To be honest with you, I really thought, and I kind of part of me still feels that way, and I should not say this out loud, but I thought it was just a publicity stunt by him and his son that they wanted to get viral, and it just worked. But I have to think about the fact that he had not dropped the album, whatever. That was my angle. Because I'm like, first of all, everybody should be checking their children around. To some level. If you don't guide the children about where they should go, their children they're gonna go off the tracks. So so are you saying that parents should not discipline their kids no more, or how to talk to their kids, whatever? That's internally. They do that so they don't have to get outside and act the fool and get locked up or get shot at or get killed. But what if he talking to a police officer the way he talking to his dad or the way and he gets killed? Who's gonna worry about that? I don't really see anybody saying. I don't know the people who are saying, "Oh man, he being too harsh on the kid." He said whatever he said to who's saying that? If you don't use that language with your kid, okay, that's cool, fine. But I get the point that he's trying to drive in. I don't use. I won't say I don't. First of all, I don't have kids around here, but if I did, and when I do, they're gonna hear that at some point. If they get to that point where I'm like, dude, you better know what's going on. I brought you to this world. I want to make sure you. I'm gonna guide you until I make sure that I've done well with you to the point where you become responsible. And anybody outside that's sitting any of that is gonna care for you as much as I do. And I believe that's the same way. That's the same thing with him. I have no doubt in my mind that Kurt Franklin loves his son more than he loves me or anybody else out there that wants to complain about how he treats his son. And his son has just been spoiled because it's privilege. Just been a spoiled brat. That's what that is. And the idea that he recorded that, I'm done with this. The idea that he recorded that, that's indicative of what Kurt Franklin said about him. He's a band. I just call my friend, he a band. You're banned. That's why it's called. I used to call my friends. We used to call band. When pan. We used to call ourselves all kinds of stuff. Because we didn't want to say what it was. But we used to joke
We want
around
to be
with that.
slick with it.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, like you're bad, man. You're a pan. Like but so I'm just saying, it got me thinking about how when I was in college, we used to use pan and band, but he a band, and that was just indicative of what that is. But I yield.
See, to Mayo with that, I do you one better. When I worked at Department of Engineering, wasn't a whole lot of black folk there, so me and all the black folk that was there, we used to have discussions, and we would use talk about crackers, and that was how we talked about the white folk that was around us. We would just discuss different crackers with different meals. Like, yo, what's a good cracker to go with a Caesar salad?
Oh man,
I'm thinking a good old. I'm thinking like a good old townhouse. It's like what? And then we see ones come. What about a good old saltine? And there'd be somebody walking by like, how dare you disrespect me? But to the point of
you going left with this, man. Like he about to get it.
I'm saying no. To the point of we have to be better with raising the children and getting them to understand the reason why black people and black parents talked to us in that fashion and gave us that kind of tough love is because they knew the world was going to be 100 times fucking worse than they. Mm-hmm. I always say, I love my mama for the fact that we did not get along, because the shit she said to me impacted me to the core, to the point where it ain't a thing a human being on this earth can say to my face is going to really hurt my feelings. My mama said worse to me before I went to school. Mm-hmm. So you have no chance in this world of hurting my feelings.
Speaking of that,
yeah.
So speaking of that, we go take a commercial break, and then when we come back, we're gonna talk more about politics and why in the world we have our own thinking that racism don't happen to them because they got money. So we going to take a deep dive on
the
that.
OJ. It's the OJ mentality.
And we'll be right back. All right, let's get back in here. So, second half sponsor, Real Chairboy Popcorn Show at the bottom, chairboypopcorn.com. Let's get into it, because from the last show that we talked about, we kind of did into the all lives matter, and you got our own sitting there saying that all lives matter. My thing is this: I don't expect everybody that is our complexion to think the same way, but we all deal with the same struggle differently.
Sure.
So, but the thing that really pisses me off is when I'm gonna use Mayo for example. I believe Mayo is he's successful. He got his own business. He's involved in politics. Well, let's go back to politics. He's involved in with this community, as y'all saw in the town hall meeting. Then also, this man here, you know, I would say he's living a very, you know, comfortable life. And then he hear me, who's military, and then you hear Beast, who's an independent artist, going over these issues and problems, and he's saying, "Come on, y'all, it's not that bad. You know, if y'all just work hard and pull yourself up by the bootstraps, and you could probably get a nice car like I have, wear the nice suits that I have, or drink the finest of wines like I drink, or get all the ladies that you want." And that's where I get from
ladies that you want. No, okay.
We don't support that now.
Like you get my attention when you said that. Like you said, what? Where are they?
And see, that's what I get from Black conservatives. I get this majority from them because they always, and when they vote against their interests, because they vote against their interests too. Because every time you bring up racism around them, it's like a common cold to them when you bring it up until it finally happens to them. Like I forgot. I think it was Ben Carson. Something happened with Ben Carson, and Ben Carson. Remember, Ben Carson, he don't believe in racism. And then something happened to him, and then all the conservative.
I just seen something recently about Ben Carson making, I guess, some kind of comparison to runaway slaves.
The Breakfast Club. Breakfast Club. He made some crazy ass remarks, and then when people come at him for that, then you have the conservative right sit there saying, "Well, that's racist. That's racist." But y'all remember, y'all don't believe in racism. And for the Black conservative not seeing that, like, hold up, wait a minute, what? Now y'all believe there's racism? Like, for real? So my question is this and I'll leave this on the floor. My question is this: can we have them as an ally because they Black?
No.
I mean, when you say can you have them to my Black folks that you don't agree with, that you think that
no, not that I don't agree with them. I mean, Black people who have that mindset that I got millions
those
of
that
dollars.
publicly make that
Right.
known. Okay, examples. Better example. Stacey Dash. We all saw how she went when the Trump thing hit. Now the word on the street is she backed him. No, she want to be Black because up until that point, she honestly didn't acknowledge herself as a Black woman, just a melanated woman. That's why her children are Louisiana light skinned. So she went and found the whitest or lightest brother she could to ensure that her children would have the most minimal of Negro features.
A boyfriend or a baby daddy or husband is white, is as light skinned. That was always saying.
Well, I'm not saying he's white. All I say is that her children are extremely light.
Hold on, let me do my due diligence. Y'all go.
Because I can't remember what the father looked like in my mind's eye right now. I do remember the children were very, very light, even for that brown woman. And she made the Trump thing. She made the Trump, and now she's I wouldn't.
Well, so y'all know I always defend black conservatives. So I mean, I'm like, I guess.
It's one thing to be a black conservative because I understand that point too, but she was never in the public eye, never made any political statements publicly prior to that point. So she put herself, out there.
Her kids?
It's their kids.
See what I mean? Minimum.
Kids. No lie.
I ain't dissing the babies now. Baby's beautiful.
Well, I mean, I'm not even saying that negative. I'm just saying, no, that's her husband. Her husband is white. That's what it look like.
Yes, this is her husband right here. This is the same one that called the cops on her.
Why? Why did he call the cops? And forgive me, I don't.
Because she got drunk and had a nigga moment and started beating on his ass, like Hallie.
Wow.
Allegedly, I'm just presuming.
Wow.
But the point being,
these are things people research more, ladies and gentlemen. Don't think
like we say about she didn't believe in racism. She didn't believe she was black and that racism towards blacks applied to her. And then she called the counterculture version of racism self-hate.
Wow.
She caught that self-hate from us. Because we saw what you was, and it's like, bitch, how you not gonna claim you black and you are notably known as the black character in some of not all of your films. You're known as the black person in your films. You were the black white girl in Clueless, but we should have known then that that's how you really was.
But before you go any further, Beast, let's clarify one thing. Now, when we talking about black conservatives, there are black conservatives out there that know that racism is out there, that really care about the black community. They're like I said, I forgot that one guy's name. That, like I said, there's a lot of things that we don't agree, but it always leads from him seeing the betterment of black people. One of the biggest issues that I had with black conservatives, I was actually listening to some YouTubers on trusted YouTubers that I listen to when I'm driving, and they say you got black conservatives that's out here for a show, a minstrel show. That's why when that dreaded name Candace Owens comes up, and people like, well, she did have a point right there. Oh yes, she had a point, but let me go ahead and get biblical with you. The devil was right about a lot of things too.
He was.
Remember what they said? The biggest trick that the devil did to everybody on earth was that he did not exist. So when I hear people sitting there and say that, oh yeah, he or she got a point. Okay, but what's their track record? What's their track record? Did they always had these beliefs? Why did they use the old bait and switch where they get you with truth, but then you realize it was all just a scam and a ploy, and you realize, oh yeah, you are a real nasty person. You know, it's like somebody sitting there. You think that you're on a Tinder date. I'm gonna put it like that because I've been on Tinder dates. I love you, because that's where we met. You know, you're going through Tinder. Swipe left, swipe right. And the ones that you're interested in, you see her picture, oh snap, she like hiking, oh she loved going to the clubs, she loves her mom, you see all these pictures. So you write to them like, hey, I want to, I'm very interested. Can we set up a date? Cool, fine. I saw your picture, same thing, whoop de whoop. So you're off on your date, and then you come to find out you look nothing like the picture. You've been catfished. You thought that she was, beautiful.
Two choices.
I put it like this. She sitting there saying she was Janet Jackson. Come out there with more like Freddie Jackson.
Bitch look like Freddie.
and you sitting like, and you just want to cry, but like inside you just cry like, I could have went to the club with my boys tonight, and I'm on this date. So that's what I see with these black conservatives. So I'm not generalizing, but you do got a few of them that's out here for show. They're out here getting the paycheck. That's regurgitating these talking points from these racist ass conservatives. Because like at this point right now, when this comes to conservatism, I believe that the shit is all racist. I believe there's no position for even the reasonable black conservatives to explain their way out of it. Conservatism to me just equals racism, because I don't see anything that support us as black folks to get ahead in life. Only just to say, just be yourself, stick to yourself, make your own money, and everything's gonna be okay. That's what I get from conservatism. I don't hear anything about when you make your money, put your money in your community and help them out. I don't hear anything with that. It's basically just to have your own and shut the hell up, boy. But that's just me. But I mean,
well, I see all what you guys are saying. I do have a slight different perspective in the sense that I always pride myself on consideration and understanding. First of all, I can never say I understand 100% where most black conservatives, and I say most, come from when they come up with the, I made it so any other black can make it type. I can't understand that, but I can consider, because I know that it's a selfish feeling, and the feeling of wanting for self is part of the natural feeling that we come to life with. It's a defense mechanism. So we don't give it all, and we don't have anything. We die of ourselves. So I think it's some kind of defense mechanism that God put in us. But it's all about how you can balance it. So you don't be too selfish or be selfish. The idea is to be able to give enough so that everybody can share. But because we all also have that human thing that He put in us to make sure that you can want for yourself first. So I think some of them just took onto that too much, and they never were able to balance it out. So again, I never can say I agree or understand why somebody would think to themselves that, like, racism is not real, systemic racism is not real. But I understand why. If somebody's had that way most of their life, and the society they grew up in, everything seems like it's never been a problem. They don't ever see they're not gonna see what I see. So because they don't see what I'm seeing, that means that they're cool, or they're this, or they're that, that. I'm not gonna sit there and call them that, because guess what I'm doing? I'm abusing another black person. I don't have the will or even the capability to sit here and even, the worst of the worst I ever seen in my life. Comparable to Boondocks, Uncle, what's it called? Uncle,
Uncle Rock.
Yeah.
No relation.
Clarence Thomas is probably like a making of Uncle Thomas. It's the same thing from that Django movie. The guy that did you talking
about Samuel L. Jackson's character?
Samuel L. Jackson's role. So when I think of Clarence Thomas, I look at those two cartoonish or movie type thing, and they're identical to it. And even I still give him some level of respect that he's a black man that's dealt with some kind of. The fact the one girl, Anita Hill, whatever. I don't know. I don't see. I don't put it past party politics to try to get him in trouble. I just don't. You never really know. And for me, instead of me just going at somebody that's black because they think different than me, I'm gonna try to get them to come my way to see things my way. If they don't see it, so be it. But understand that I believe that you sold us out either intentionally or unintentionally. The thing about it is that how do I know if it's intentionally? And I'm not the one to try to act like I know for sure that it's intentional, because for many reasons, we sit here and they tell us we're in the Democratic plantation. And I get what they say when they say that. I understand 100% when they say we are in the Democratic plantation. What have we gotten the last 65 years since the Civil Rights Act of 1964? You name me one thing the black community has gotten that somebody said that's just a black community. I'm a president of the United States. I made sure they said it in the State of the Union. The president said, "Oh, the black community deserves this. I'm gonna go get it for them." Congress, please, somebody please enact a bill so that I can sign into law. You name one thing under any Democratic president that has been an act that's just for black people after the Civil Rights Act of 1964. and I can probably say affirmative action. I think that might be 65, or I can't date myself in my history. But, you know, that was all the same era. But outside that era, you name, we've had Jimmy Carter, we've had Clinton, we've had Obama, we've had Biden. I mean, so we've had, you know, people. It's not like we've not had Democrats in office. But, you know, and we keep like, oh, you know, Democratic Party, and we can't stand the other party. Those coons, they work with it. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and talk shit. I mean, at the end of the day, they deal with racism, and sometimes maybe they don't know, or maybe they pretend like they don't know, which would be selling out intentionally. But I would like to think that they are selling out, either if they know it or they don't know it. But the last thing I'm going to do is to assault them, because I know that because they're black in America, they're still dealing with whatever I'm dealing with. Now, the fact that they don't feel the same way for me, I'll let them deal with that. You know, I'm not the most religious guy neither, but I believe in God. I'm a Christian and all that stuff. But, you know, like, I believe that the Maker is going to judge them one day. Like, damn, you saw your motherfucker, your people. Excuse me, you saw your people out.
That was slick, man. That was slick. Smooth too.
You sold your people out. You know. The creator's gonna tell one day you sold your people out. And they're gonna have to ask.
Hey, look here. Religiously speaking,
What?
we don't know what God says. For all we know,
I don't believe cuss words are bad. I'm just doing this because I'm in the public light most of the time, and I might be there in the future. I don't have no plans to run right now, but I want to get. I don't want to do a video, but I don't believe MF is wrong. Like, to be honest with you, I hope the parents that are watching this cover your ears, your kids' ear real quick. Yeah, motherfucker, they no wrong, motherfucker. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. I don't think it's anything. Like, you know, I mean, you know, like it's a language.
He says it so well. Just rolled off the tongue like Ricardo Montalban.
I'm saying.
I want to say too, but I think you
maybe we should have a show someday. Maybe we should have a show something about cuss words, because I don't want to change the subject here. But I don't believe cuss words
you good.
No, you good. You good. So I'm gonna jump in. I'm gonna rebut some of the things you just said. I can't believe you said motherfucker so smooth.
He did. Said smooth like smooth vibe.
Okay, so
Is this triple the seal? This is triple. This is 7 times the seal. You goddamn.
The Democrat plantation, I 100% agree with you on that one. But at the same time, we can flip over. So when any Republican come up to me and say, "What have the Democrat Party has done?" I will be like, "Yeah, they haven't done much for us," and I use that term very loosely. But I can go on the contrary and be like, "What has the Republicans done since Reconstruction?"
Mm-hmm.
What in that case, that means we're fighting. Like, you know, the one thing I love about Kim Mike, and I can never, after when he said that, and I was like, man, he thought everything I've been thinking. He said like, stop, like he said, kill your master, stop fighting for two different masters. But he was talking about kill your master, mean like kill your vice, whatever you doing there, whatever keeps you like you're a smoker, a drunk, whatever, you're someone who smoke a lot and is holding you back, whatever, you know, kill your master. But he also said at the same time, don't be out here fighting for two masters, the Republican Party and Democratic Party. Why don't you know? So, you know, and that's I have no intentions, even though I am elected to fight for my Democratic Party within the Democratic Party. Right. But outside the duty of that, I don't do it something like I'm like I don't think about I'm fighting for them as much as I fight for my community or as my you know, people is what leads me to fight every day. People, and I mean all party people. That's what leads me to fight every day. The party is secondary to me. That's what I'm saying.
That's why I'm about to bring that up. I'm like, but you bring in a whole different fight that needs to be done with the Democratic Party. Now, for me, I'm a team player, but if that team is not playing the way that it should, I should step up and be like, yo, coach, this shit's fucked up. Shit need to fucking change. And 9 times out of 10, the coach going to be like, if I'm the team captain or one of the team leaders, he will be like, yo, fix it. I can just tell them and instruct them what to do, but the team leader needs to be the one that basically instruct them what they need to do and execute and hold them to be accountable. That's the same thing with the military. When you have the NCOIC, who is the manager, and he got his people that's running the show within them to keep these people in line, make sure they come to work, right place, right time, right uniform. So yeah, I agree with you on that one. But also another thing that really about them not knowing what is racist and what's racism and what is not, or they don't know. I can't agree with that, not even to an extent, because I live in the South and Beach can say the same thing, where we had white friends, yes, also white friends that are, that love the Confederate flag, that, that we grew up with, that we cool with, the best friends with, don't even understand what that flag is until you start getting up there in age where you allow them to say the N-word around you, or they sitting there singing, mixing up songs, like, let's get together and kill Marnie, or they will sing something else with racial undertones to it that we didn't catch. Yeah. Or, I got these many black friends, I'm not racist, I got a color TV. At the time, we laugh about, ha, giggle, and then we come to find out, no, that's not funny. That's
you in a color TV.
Right. Color,
they
that's
meant
not,
you.
Right. It's not even funny at all. And if I knew now,
well, I knew then
it would be a different story. Majority of the friends that I had, we won't be swinging and all that stuff. So,
man, I got 12 stitches on my back from being shoved into locker by all white boys in my high school. So, I mean, I get it. I mean, like,
yeah. But I see what you're saying, though.
But, all I'm saying is that even yesterday they were talking about the George Floyd case, and how
which we need to talk about soon too.
Right, which absolutely. Which we're talking about how the white poll, back then they talked about how they felt like what was happening was racism. How racism it was in America was the poll went up super high, and then this guy is one of these guys on another network, and they were talking about how like the poll today is now showing that white folks don't feel like there's much racism. The same white folks liberal white folks that had a poll up high back then last year have now feel like now the poll number has dropped significantly, and they were talking about how that's the fake white allyship, whatever. And I'm like, that's how I think of the more average. If you're not a super progressive white person, I think of you as a fake ally. Where I think that it's just like this is what's cool right now. Being supporting black folks or Black Lives Matter is what's cool right now. Let's just do it until America follows what's cool. And that's the majority of America, and that's not the right thing. We need to start having people understand what they're thinking, what they're pushing. And for me to sit there and charge a brother who's following what's cool in this party, how many white folks am I charging who are in my party who are just following what was good, but just happen to be cool in my party now? But if it's not cool in my party no more and still good, they won't be following it. So I'm just saying there's a lot of white Democrats who might be faking it with you, and they might be right next to you. I'm gonna charge them less than I charge the brother who might not know no better, but he wants to be a part of what's cool. Because it's hard. It's always hard to be like, even being in this group right now as we're talking. It's always hard to be the one in dissent. I'm just a strong mind. I'm just a strong mind. I don't know what it is, man. I'm passionate about this, but I'm just a strong-minded dude that knows better. That the way and the love I have for people, and the fact that I believe that we overlook the amount of turning us against each other that people do, and that we don't even get it. It's subconscious sometimes that I want to because of some party or some party ideals, or because like even like for example the Breonna Taylor thing, that dumb fuck it, I can say dumbass. That dumbass, that dude. The guy, the Kentucky Attorney General.
I know who you're talking about. I got his face.
What?
Fucked up hairline.
Right. I mean, if I saw him today, I was still shaking me, saying, "I'll be like, hey, what's up, my brother? How are you doing?" And the moment when he tells me that you are not my brother, that's when I can say all what you guys say. But if he acknowledges me and tells me, Mayo, I just think that you guys are wrong, we'll have the conversation. I want to have a conversation with them. Like, what have you experienced in your life that makes you feel like these things are not evidently like, just racism? What is it that, and is it because you wanted a position, a job? You want, And if he's probably not going to tell me it's the latter. He's going to tell me it's something where he truly believes that. And if he tells me that, let's keep having conversation. I'm not going to hit on my brothers because he don't get something that I know that most white folks don't get at all. I'm just not going to do it. And especially when I know Nancy Pelosi is sitting down there throwing her fist up, and I know if a black person did boo in front of a gate, they probably going to get shot at right now. If she was driving into a gate and she found a black person inside a gate that she don't know who's supposed to be, they probably going to shoot first, but ask who that person is. I mean, because she's one of the richest. She's the richest person in Congress.
I think she's like worth 300 million or something like that, 30 million or something like that.
Well, whatever, yeah. So I know if they found some brother in the
Rob that
gate.
bitch.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure I shouldn't say that, but because I don't know like that. But for of everything I've seen, including the fake fist, because even those fake things lets me know that because it was just so fake, and even those lets me know that if you faking those, what do you really think about me? If you because the whole fist and knee thing doing the George Floyd thing, that was. It looked like it was just a bad acting, and maybe
I thought the same thing.
Right, that's what
I thought was distasteful. I rather see that from the Black Caucus. If the Black Caucus would have done that, then I would have understand.
Right,
but
with the kente cloth on and everything, it just looked like somebody that was white that was like, "Let me do whatever it takes to please these Negroes," and that itself was an insult enough. That itself was an insult enough that makes me think. I wonder how you really feel about me if you're going to fake that to me. That's how I think. I just, I think to myself, like, I really wonder what's.
That's how I see it too.
Right. But for the James Cameron thing, Daniel Cameron, I actually looked him up. It's Daniel Cameron, the AG from Kentucky. I would not shake his hand. I probably might punch him right there in the jaw. I tell you the truth. I say this about I'm like this. I would go hard at Nancy Pelosi because I feel the same way about Nancy Pelosi. I would go as hard as Nancy Pelosi as much as hard as I go for Daniel Cameron. I think we get caught up in the hoopla of like, yo, that's your brother, and no, you're not my brother. No. If you turn in the other cheek, just like the rest of your white counterparts, no matter if you're like I said, I mainly see it on the conservative right, but also on the left. If you're doing that same exact thing, you ain't no brother of mine. I see you as the enemy. Let's see how long they're gonna keep doing the same thing with you. Till you say something that's gonna offend them, and they're gonna kick your ass to the dry. Like going back to what Beach was talking about was Stacey Dash. Now all of a sudden Stacey Dash want her black card back, and everybody kept on saying, "Hey, it's only gonna last for so long."
How could she have lost it? I mean, I'm just trying to find out. I mean,
right? I'm saying hypothetical
in the sense that she lost it.
Yeah, I'm but because how people would
say.
She
lost it in the twofold though. She lost it in the twofold. She lost it by distancing herself from her culture, number one, and then from a romantic, personal level, she chose and made it evidently clear. Like you got some folk that it's a fetish. Like they're not going to date within their race. They're only going to date outside their race, and they're only going to date a specific race.
Right.
And that was the image that she put out there, that she only fuck with white dudes.
What?
And now she's saying this kind of sideways slide, slick mouth, anti-black stuff. Okay, your black card has now been, revoked. Then you hit the Trump. Yeah, it was taken at that point.
Right. And see, the thing is, I had girlfriends. Now I'm not talking about girlfriends I date. I mean girlfriends that were black that said they only date white dudes. I was like, all right, cool. But they never threw it in my face like, yeah, Morris, why you talking to me? You ain't trying to get with this. Only like white dudes. I never got that vibe.
Those are the ones we talking about.
Right. I say if that's your persuasion and you're not throwing it in my face. Because I like all flavors. Okay,
Baskin Robbins, baby.
I love my sisters. I love my Puerto Ricans. I love my freaking Filipinos, baby. I love you.
I love my Neapolitan.
I'm telling you, and I love my Islanders. Don't get me started on Islanders. Okay, so I love all types of flavors. But if you stay on one particular one, that's fine with me. I'm not gonna sit there and go, just don't throw it in my face or me throwing it in your face like, man, I only deal with white girls, man. How can you deal with black girls and all that stuff? No, I could care less. If that's your persuasion,
Do you, Pimp?
but don't make it as a political pawn just to make me and Mayo mad, because we know that you fine and all that stuff, and you say you only date freaking white dudes. Okay,
good for you.
Go on that. Do you, bro? Like I said, I had a lot of girlfriends that were black that only like white guys. I was like, cool. And then also I had girlfriends that were white girls that only like black dudes. They're like,
I think I have a problem with all those people. I mean, anybody, anybody that can predetermine. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I've never, dated a white girl, so to speak, but I don't, and because I'm gonna keep myself out of it so I don't get myself in trouble. But
I see that's even this time. He's like, I need to be real careful.
Right. I gotta work a certain view. I gotta work a certain line
because there's a lot of stuff that we talking about that might go get us in trouble.
I gotta work a certain line. Saying all this,
I got certain sisters watching this feed right now. I gotta be careful.
I don't know who watching. I don't know who watching. I don't know who recording it, who's doing it. So I'm just gonna say, like, I've never had a white girlfriend. However, it's not because I've never been attracted to a white girl. It's not because but it's probably because like I've not been I've not
you haven't met the right one for you. You haven't met the right one for you.
No, I won't say that.
I'm saying meaning the personality, your preference and personality and physicality.
Right. Well, I mean, no, to be honest,
matches. It just so happened to be white.
Plus, I was raised in the black community, so
that's
I
all
guess
you know.
Yeah, it's what I know. It's kind of like and partly, I had sisters growing up, hearing sisters talking about it, and I guess, and this is part of America. We have to understand. I love the part of me that I'm free to say what's on my mind, because I feel like like. I mean, to some level, I can't go 100% out and go punch, like I want to say, but I don't want to punch. Everything I do, I try to say with peace and love in some kind of way, and so people can reach people in love. Is that even us? We've been traumatized so much that we still have some resentment within us. And we try to act like we don't have it. We do have it. Like I got some. I mean, like it's hard for me to. I mean, like I often wonder. If somebody's married to a white woman or white man, and the reason why I think it works was because some of these white people also are people who understand the struggle, and they feel like, hey, I'm gonna be there for you, like I'm a sister, even though I'm not one. I'm just gonna be the person I can. I love you the way I can, and you better love me the way you can, and not think of me as a white woman if I'm with you. I think that's how those women do it. But I be thinking to myself, if I just watch like Roots, or maybe I just watch. One of those movies that kind of like reminds me, because I study history a lot. I go back into Black history a lot, and when I'm doing that, I get to watch a lot of Black documentaries. I get to read a lot of books, and if I just got to read one of those books, like how do I feel that night when and not to say that I think that I'll feel different, but I'm thinking that I will feel different. I'm not the thing that I'll feel so much different. It'll probably be a slight difference, but I'll be some kind of way like, damn, what the fuck am I doing? And I'll have to ask myself questions afterwards. Because it's not like, like I'm still upset at people who didn't do it. It's not this generation didn't do it, even though some of them are doing some shit that's close to that. But this generation didn't do it. The generation before this didn't do it. It's been like 2 or 3 or 4 generations, but some of them have been passing it along to each other. So I can't say everybody in this generation or generation before is exempted of this racism thing. But when I look at all the harshness and stuff, and which some of it is going on right now, all I'm saying is that when we talk about, and we know how we talk about white folks, that's what I'm saying. I didn't want to go deep into that. We know, we can act like we don't know. I mean, because I said, like, y'all doing it right now. I'm the one that's trying to hold on. That's what I'm saying. So I mean, I guess, and we know it's all of us that do that. At least all of us that are not the Stacey Dashers and them. And those ones, to them, they feel like they're 100% thorough. They've wiped their heart of anything that's wrong, and they want to be kumbaya. They believe that we're a post-racial society. I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to They're trying to balance the scale, and it's not their job to balance the scale of the fact that I might get shot if I drive out of here tonight. It's not their job to balance that scale because that scale is not balanced. It's still my life is still in my life is still in jeopardy of being outside of the house because I'm driving because I'm black. And they cannot balance that. So I understand what they're trying to do for the sake of humanity. They're trying to love white people and overwhelmingly love white people so they can balance it. And it's not my place to tell them that they're fucking coons. That pisses me off when I see us hate on them because they, to some level, they're still trying to balance something. But it's not their role, and they can't do it. And that we just got to talk to them to let them know that, hey, brother, sister, this bullshit that you doing, you ain't going. It's not gonna. They gotta stop killing us. They gotta stop.
Yeah.
We gotta stop working on systemic racism. We gotta
The
stop.
hippie movement didn't work.
I mean,
Yeah, it did not.
but that's where the crux is at. We got if we don't do the work, and that falls back on us. We can hate and resent as much as we want of what's happened to us if we don't start, getting the Uncle Ruckers, and I won't say Uncle Ruckers because that's what they have on that side. But we have all the spook behind the door who's just chilling behind the door and they ain't spooking no more. If we don't start getting the ones that we have in our party, they ain't doing nothing for us and creating us and living us in systemic racism. If we don't start doing that, we as good as them.
Yeah,
Because we're sitting there like oh, we love the Democratic Party. Oh,
Right.
congressman, my congresswoman, oh, she's been there for 50 years. I love her so much. Oh my God, she's a great Democrat. It's like,
Right.
what the fuck?
Right.
What has she done for you?
And I agree with you on that. Yes, we need to start tighten up what's going on in our house too. We can't sit there throwing stones and be in the glass house.
Now,
I agree with you on that point. But like I said,
in some cases, it kind of boring because I was laughing earlier when we talking about Daniel Cameron, and I was like, "This is the same one from Breonna Taylor, correct?"
Yes.
What?
Yeah. The reason why I was laughing was because he got a fucked up hairline. He's saying the most ignorant shit of any human being ever, and his initials are DC. You damn coon.
How?
That's why I was just sitting here laughing.
Yeah.
It was we were all calling him a coon, but I'm just sitting here your name is D. Ah, damn it! It's almost as if you was born and bred to be a coon.
But then also, but then, like I said, I do think some of them. I'm gonna meet you in the middle of the road. I do think some of them actually know what they're doing. But then you got some that actually got raised in a conservative household. 9 times out of 10, they had white parents. Like Floyd Mayweather. I don't consider Floyd Mayweather a conservative to an extent, but he did say all lives matter. But when you got them coming from that type of household, yes, they don't know no better. But
he also can't count his own money, so you take that with bricks off.
So yes, like I said, I agree with you on that point. But you got some that actually use this to make their money. This is their bread and butter. This is where the Heritage Foundation be like, hey, we need you to do this. We need you to go to this gig here, or the Turning Point USA. I need you to go to this gig right here. This is their money. This is how they make their money. Do I believe that we can all coexist one day? Yeah, there's a chance. But if you done wrong, I don't care if you do it vicariously or don't realize what you're doing. If you shoot at me, I'm not gonna forget you shot at me.
Give me a pass to jump in. Okay, the one thing I'm gonna say is that and I've spoken way too long on anybody else on there. The one thing I'll say is that as much as you said that, can you imagine them having the conversation we're having right now, saying that those motherfucking Democrats in plantation, you're like, dang, am I ever gonna give them a shot? That's all I think. I try to think of the other side and how they think. And when I say other side, I'm not thinking about white folks, thinking about us because that's a whole different conversation.
Right,
I'm about the ones of us that we call coons. They think we're coons too. So at some point, somebody's gonna have to step. Even though they're minority out of us, out of our black community, they are the minority. I just think that at some point we got to find a way to get to the middle ground, and it's not by throwing shots at each other. They corners. They think like, oh, those Negroes in the plantation. You know, they got. I mean, and I get what they're saying, but I'm just like, hey, I'm telling them, hey, dude, I'm not. I'm in the fields, bro. You know, and I'm working hard, trying to make sure I escape the next minute. So we go build another. I'm not sitting there trying, you know. You know what I mean? So I'm
Right.
you know, I tell them right away.
But Mayo, they see how you move anyway. They see how we move. It's like, damn, they moving and it's working for them. I mean, if they want to come over and have a conversation, it's like, all right, cool. But what you have did is going to get addressed. Like, if I done some things, you know, I'm expecting the same thing. It's like, if I done some things that made you twist your head, let's talk about like men. Let's talk about like adults. Let's bring it to the table, and let's make sure after we have this conversation that we're real with each other. That if anything happens, that we will address it before we start spreading rumors, or I have to find out from somebody else that you got disagreement with. So that, yeah, I give you that, and that's somewhere where we need to get at. But at the same time, remember, you shot the gun at me. Don't be mad if I got something in the chamber and I'm gonna shoot back at you. Let's just hopefully we don't kill each other and that one of us be like, yo, hey, let's talk about this. Let's just put
that's what I said. I said, let's talk about it, you know, because that's what we do is shoot each other at the end of the day. We call them coons, they call us like, you know, they call us something similar. Trust me, when they have a conversation, they're not saying, oh, we coons are fucking those great black people are making fun of us. They're not saying that. I mean, you know, they calling us the same thing too. In their mind, they think we sold out. They think that we're doing this so that we can get the popular Democrats to support us. That's what they talk about. Right. I've heard them talk. I mean, you hear them talk about it a lot. You know, I mean, you know, and to them, they think that we are in the post-racial environment. They think, and it's funny, but you know, and they don't see it. It's a thing about perspective. Their perspective is different.
Yeah, because
so how do we get them?
We're in the field and they in the house, so they get to make the master's bed warm, and they get to, you know, fix the food, but they only get the scraps. Sometimes they get to read and write and all that stuff.
But it's important for you to know that they think that they were in the fields too, but they worked so hard to get up the field. And being in the master's house, it shows because they work hard and they believe that we can all get off the field and be in the house. It's a mind thing. They think that, you know, so you know, for me, I'm not gonna blame their mind. For me, think again, like, you know, like, because I know again that they know I could walk by some people out and be in that master's house too. And I could be like close to like, you know, whatever top level. They have a hierarchy of how, you know, the House Negroes are, right? You know, the ones that by the door are the Democrats that are elected. You know, then the ones inside the House are the ones that are saying like, oh, those guys out at the door. You know, those massive get them. You know. So I mean, that's what's going on here. So, but we had cheering the ones at the door like, oh, he's at the door. Nah, bump that. None of them are doing good enough.
No, I wholeheartedly
agree.
I mean, but here's the thing is, Mayo, when we have these conversations, we have it at the end of the show. This is not right. Come on, Mayo. Come on, man. Like, you have like the top of the show, the middle of the show. Like, good. Other than that, we got a community that we got to visit. We got to go check out how Beast is doing. Hey, Beast, what you got for us when we come visit?
Well, I'm gonna talk a little further on the Kurt Franklin situation.
Okay. Thanks for taking us back.
Yeah, I said. So Mayo, go ahead and grab a seat, man, and everybody else get in the back seat. It is time for us to make that trip to
come on now here. Community involvement. This whole thing with Kurt Franklin, it just got me thinking the difference between the current generation and the previous generation in regards to how to handle familiar issues. You know, we were always raised in certain things and certain ways you handle situations. And the reason behind it was because when you get out here in the world and you run across somebody in a similar situation or a worse situation, you know how to go about it in a peaceful manner. And you know how to not antagonize or escalate the situation. You know, growing up for me, I was always raised to certain things that as a man you don't speak on. I don't care how heated or emotional you are with the individual or conversation. There's just certain topics you don't bring up because they could be sore spots. You don't necessarily know the details pertaining to this subject when applied to another person. So it's always, you never speak on a man's family because you just don't know. New generation doesn't really understand the process behind that. So I'm reminded of a time where I kind of earned a legendary man myth of choking a man out on the job because he wanted to be disrespectful and speak on people's family. And at that time, I just lost a family member. And he needed to know that that's stuff you don't talk about. Tried it in a civil manner because that's how I was raised. Didn't want to be civil about it, so I had to get into my gangster shit. Even after everything was said and done, even his own family members actually chastised him and praised me for my actions, saying that you should be happy all the man did was choke. You mean to tell me you said fuck this nigga mama and he just buried his mama? That nigga could have shot you in your fucking face. These are the words of his uncle. Another old school head, because they understand. Family topics are extremely sensitive. And you never know what a person is going through at that moment when it comes to their family. So you just don't speak on it. Especially if you ain't built to take this situation to a higher level and caliber. So when it comes to that boy, he wasn't raised right. And he chose not to listen and acknowledge the teachers that were probably evident in front of him. Because you just don't do that. That you don't put your family business out there. Because see, now you showcase this and you realize that you ain't the only one that got daddy issues. A lot of other folk got severe daddy issues. And a lot of folk did not appreciate how you handled yourself in spite of the fact that they got issues with their daddy. They still did not like how you handled yourself in that situation. So now you done put your family business out here on Front Street and now you got to deal with it. All the opinions and critiques and criticisms that come from it. Now, if you was raised in the proper community or listen to the community when they told you family shit is family shit and you handle it amongst family, then maybe the world wouldn't know about your dysfunctional situations and your father wouldn't have to go out here and apologize for your actions. Not apologizing for what he had to say, apologizing for the fact that you chose to broadcast that to the world. That was a private issue. Yeah, I heard somebody in the background too. You probably called that man in the midst of something. So they just so happened to be there. But other than that person and God, when nobody else supposed to know what happened that day. So we need to really understand moving forward with this new generation. It's okay to share. But there is a thing, it's TMI, too much information. And if you're not ready to deal with all the scrutiny and questions that could come from sharing, maybe you should be judicious and cautious about what you actually share. And if you feel as though sharing will gain you some kind of notoriety or attention, all attention ain't good attention. Yeah, people know you, but do they know you for the right reasons? Do they know you in the right light? Do they know you in the light that you can be proud of 20, 30, 50 years from now? If you're still remembered. If not, keep that shit to yourself. Ain't no other way to say it. Speak on stuff that need to be spoke on. And when it don't need to be spoke on, leave it alone. So you can find yourself like Kurt saying, thinking you out here exposing people and putting people on blast when all you did was put your own damn self on blast, like a suicide bomber that came too soon. Sad and tragic. But nonetheless, we can use this as a great education tool. But with that being said, I hope y'all enjoyed this time in my community. If you ever want to come by, feel free to come by. Just give me a call first so I can put the dial up. And with that, I yield the floor. Y'all have a good one.
Yeah, too much. So this is the closing statement and final statement for the night. I just want to say, I mean, we've had a good night. Thanks for folks who got a chance to watch the town hall meeting that I had with advocates and activists from Medicare for All. So I just want to put back on the idea of why we should always try to do our best to be morally in the right space. The reason why we had this show was because I'm one of those who believe that no one should have to die because they don't have enough money, or because they're not making big money, or because of what the kind of job they do. There's two things in American politics, two issues that I think that fundamentally should be natural rights for any American citizen that we should always make sure we can provide for any citizen. One is education, because I can't imagine my neighbor's kids not being educated because my neighbor don't make enough money. Then they get less education, because at some point that same kid might get be in the same situation in the future where like they don't know no better. They might come rob me. So that would be the case of the chicken coming home to roost. So the other thing was healthcare, which is what our discussion was tonight. The idea that I can let my neighbor die because they might not make enough money, or because they don't have their job is not as good as my job. That is so heartbreaking that Americans continue to live that way. That we have the have and have-nots in healthcare and education. So that's one of the reasons why I joined Progressive Democrats of America. Single Payer Action Network, which is a Medicare for All pushing organization. So those are the kind of things that I hope that we can see more people get out of their homes and understand that, we have elected officials who know that overwhelmingly about 70% of Americans have polled to say that they want this system. They will cover everybody the same way. Everybody will have the best way they can get served in healthcare, regardless of what. We can all put our money in one single payer system. That's why it's called single payer. And still, our representatives are not doing it because they're getting a lot of money from the pharmaceutical company and from the insurance company. So money is ruling over people. There are two things that make things happen in America: is people and money. And right now, the people that we pay, the people that you guys that we all allowed to sit in these offices and don't vote them out, they continue to let money rule over the people. And everybody that's watching this today or tonight, and this is my last statement, need to look into their congressional offices, find out who your congressional member is, call the office and ask them where are they at when it comes to Medicare for All. If they are not supportive of it, know that that person is not supportive of you and everybody in America being able to get a fair share in healthcare. That's the call to action that we came up with tonight at the end of the call. And I hope that you guys take heed to the same thing. And you can always join organizations like the ones that in your neighborhood or in all neighborhoods like PDA. They're fighting for Medicare for All. It's what's right. It's what's morally right. And I don't see why we're not all up in arms fighting for what we know that is right, to fight for our neighbors' life, healthcare, and as well as education. But thank you so much for listening tonight. I look forward to the next show.
Medicare for All means just that. Medicare for all. Not all the rich, not all the middle class, not all the blacks, not all the Hispanics, not all the medical field, not all the celebrities. Medicare for all. Because if we had figured out anything from watching daytime talk shows and random medical mystery shows on either History or TLC, that medical mysteries and disease don't give a fuck how much you make. So no matter how rich you are, no matter how much power you may think you have, when your health goes against you, there may be no amount of money to fix what you need to fix. Or you can't afford it. But under the Medicare for All system, it means that no matter what you're making, no matter what you bring into the table, if you are sick, you're covered. There's so many diseases and random deformities that are plaguing Americans day in and day out. People going their whole lives and in their late in life finding out that they have this genetic deformity that now causes a myriad of medical issues. Nobody plans for stuff like this. The easiest way to plan for it is to make sure everybody's covered across the board. So if and when it does happen, the one thing you ain't got to worry about is being covered for the treatment. You can take your ass to the hospital and you can get the treatment and get to the core of fixing whatever ailment it is that you have without worries of how I'm going to pay for it. We shouldn't have to worry that we have to choose between generics and alternatives because everything's covered. So if your body can take the name brand, take the name brand. If your body can't, well, we got something else for it. Point being, you're covered. Rich man, poor man, no man, woman, we're covered. So please make sense to me how you can disagree with a system that would allow everyone, including yourself, to be universally covered for whatever the hell life might hit you with. Please make it make sense to me how you disagree with something like that. Leave it in the comments. Come at me, please. But for those that can't admit defeat and join in line, repeat after me. Medicare for all. I yield the floor.
I'm really beginning to hate y'all. Like on some real, for real. Every time I want to go last, I thought teach was a problem. No, y'all too. Gotta take the air out the room for me. No, I'm playing. First of all, I'd like to thank our sponsors, Real Cowboy Popcorn, as well as Sky Zone Society. But I do want to do something on a serious tip. I got sent this. I got tagged in this post. Hold up. Once I find it. Hold up. Wait a minute. Here we go. I want to share. Well, first of all, wrong one. This was an important one that was sent to me before the show started. Cowboy Popcorn, as well as Sky Zone. So I want to show this real quick to y'all. Let me go ahead and share this. I did a lot of sharing. I think this is the most sharing I have ever done on this show. But this right here, this is actually local around here. I'm gonna see what I can do with this. I want to do a little special little interview to get more information on this. As y'all can read, I want to make it send this out there to the world to go and support this hashtag here and go to this foundation. I'm gonna research it much more and to contribute and to support this foundation. I wanted to do as a special shout out from Mrs. Jones herself, who is also the wife of Mr. Jones of Cheddar Boy Popcorn. So I just want to throw this out there for everybody to see. And like I said, I'm going to do my due diligence and do more research on it and to help out any way and any chance that I can. Now, with that all being said, we're planning a watch party. We're also planning a pay-per-view soon. Yes, a pay-per-view where we can be a lot more ourselves. I'm not saying we are not ourselves on this show, as you can see, but we're going to be ourselves a lot more. So we're going to keep you updated, and then we're going to do a watch party where we're going to watch some classic movies. You know, like, for example, a black exploitation movie. Now, black exploitation movies is my jam, you know, and we're going to be doing commentary over it. But, like, a lot of great things are going to start happening with this show. So, don't get used to how the format is now. It's going to change a lot, and we're going to be doing a lot of things with you as the host, as our guests, and also having contests where you get to win gift cards. So watch out for that. We are still currently working on that. We're also going to talk more about it. And then also for those who was expecting a real estate show, my bell buddy Rodriguez had to decline today, but he will be here on Friday. So he's gonna be with us on Friday to help you to get approved for a loan, as well as Beast Johnson's contact, who's also couldn't come on the show today, will be on Friday to help y'all to get what type of loan is good for you to get in the house. So cannot wait. Thank y'all for tuning in. This show is going to start talking more controversial stuff. We're going to start mixing it with other topics within the show rather than just sticking with one. So buckle up, because it's going to be a rocky road, and lots of things going to be said where you're going to be like, did he just say that? Or did she just say that? Oh, yeah, we're going to take it there. We're not going to be just generic and just go off the cuff, off of like, you know, being nice with it. No, I said, nah, we're going to bring it to real. Because somebody can't tell you, we will, and we will break it down for you. And with that, that's my final thought. Anybody else got any extras before we head on out?
Oh shoot! I mean, we just put it out there. Like next week, we come back with a better bang. You know, I think actually next month. So what like I did today, I had this Medicare for All Townhall. Next month we have one on infrastructure banking, which is supposed to build infrastructure around the country and put money into infrastructure projects and rebuild America and give jobs to people. And the month after that, which will be May, with criminal justice reform. So each month we have an issue, so to speak, that we talk about outside, and we were going to bring it to our show as well on this show as well. So we just need to start talking about the issues. We got Biden in office now. We need to start collecting. We paid for it with our votes. People need to start paying attention as much as the same people that voted in this November need to start paying attention about the issues and start calling their representatives and saying, what are you guys gonna do? We don't want to lose the next 2 years to nothing. So that's my. I know, I can go all day with that. So
don't worry, Mayo.
I agree with Mayo on me.
Me too.
I concur with what Mayo had to say on that.
Absolutely.
Same here. And with that, thank y'all for tuning in. As for Beast Johnson, Mayo, and me as your gracious host, Donnell Lamontemore, thank you for tuning in to another edition, another installment of Hashtag Fade to Black. More great things are coming with this show.
Yes.
Not wait. Y'all have a good one.
The coolest brothers on the planet right there, man. This is some cool brothers right there. Yeah.
Well, you're a cool brother yourself. I can't.
Thank you.
I'm so stuck that he still let motherfucker come out.
No. What nobody else called for him, he said motherfucker twice, smooth. Like
smooth.
He hit him with the double motherfucker. He's like motherfucker. Like,
man, you make me want to just go and buy some him right now. Like, dang,
and it helped. He had on a purple coat. It helped. He had on a purple suit
with
jacket
the
on.
pen.
Yeah, with the yes. Like all he needed was a random bitch to just come into the background.
Oh,
Excuse me, like, don't you see I'm working?
No, he been more like this. You know what? Since you right there, you want to be serviceable. Go ahead, and give me some juice. Give me some juice. Go. Not too much. Not too much. Let go. Oh my God! Let's go ahead. Let's hold out, y'all. Y'all have
I love y'all, man. Y'all be safe, man.
Catch y'all later.
Y'all be safe, man.